Hi, how's it in the name of Christ? How are you doing? It's your girl Crankcake Karabo. I hope you're good, I hope you're peachy, I hope you're stellar, and I hope you're in a neat little bunch. If you're not, welcome to the party. Is that just not the story of our lives? So, today is the 11th of October 2025. It's essentially the 12th because I'm recording after midnight. But whatever, it doesn't matter because this is the very last video that I will ever record on this. No, it's not the last video I'll ever record. It's the last video that I will ever upload on this channel. We are finished, we are done, we are moving on, and I'm rocking the jewels that I unwrapped the other day. They're just killing it. I'm feeling them. They're stunning. So we go out with a bang, we go out with a pow, and we go out with a pow. Remember that song? Power was an Indian boy. Pow, wow, power was an Indian. I'm sorry, that just came to me. We're finished over here. I'm insecure about recording on this device because I know the sound sounds like I'm in a tunnel, but it's the only available device that I have. The other phone has is exporting, and my tablet is not the best place to record any videos because then there's always a speech lag that I must always adjust there when I do videos over there, so it's no longer trustworthy to record, only to edit on it. So we are out of options, we're out of resources in that regard, but it's all good in the hood. Why did my camera like shift focus like the way that people shift focus when it comes to Christians? They suddenly decide that we are here for the stealing, we are here for the grabbing, we are here for the emaciating, we are here for the conquering, we are here for the decimating, and we are here for the obliterating. Did I already use that? Okay. Whatever. Guys, love these rings. I mean, what in the world? The other day I was lamenting against Timu, and I was like, not Timu, but Lovisa. Here in South Africa, you're dying a slow and painful death, and I was like, what? Look at what it is that I bought from Lovisa, from Timu, for like proper, a cool like 30 of these things in one package. 30 for like 50 bucks, and yet you be buying just one of these for 125 rands at Lovi. Like, whatever, Lovisa, just like the Prophet Lovi. Anywho, anyhow, listen, it doesn't matter. I like to shuffle up my stuff like that. This is the last video. I'm making an announcement. It's the last video that I'm ever gonna upload on this ministry. I'm so insecure about recording on this phone because one, when I record there's a speech lag. Two, I know I'm gonna sound like I'm speaking in a tunnel. And three, I've never done long form content on this phone, only shorts. So I'm really insecure. But it's the only phone that I have for such a purpose as this. Therefore, work with me, child, because if you don't, I will not work with you either. Okay, no, we're not singing because it's after midnight, okay? And besides, this is a very serious conversation with the rings from Lovisa, but it's not Lovisa, it's Timu. I'm shopping like a millionaire, Timu. I'm shopping like a millionaire. Or is it a billionaire? Whatever. I'm advertising Timu because South Africa, you lost me the way that you lost me the way that Lovisa lost me. Anyway, not that I would have ever been all up in that Lovisa business after finding out about Tamu. I didn't show you these rings last time. I was like unraveling them because they were in a packet, and I'm like, I'm not trying to open any of that. I'm not trying to open any of that. But listen, gaze at all this. Gaze at the gorgeosity. Gaze at the gorgeosity. Because the last time you're gonna say it. Because you kicked me out. This here message is just to put out there that I'm leaving. I'm leaving. Diahamba with all my glory. Guys, like what? Okay? I'm sorry, I just have to go and floss. Like it's a tooth thingy-mabobby. I'm flossing, like check these giant earrings out. Like look at all this gorgeosity from Timu. Look at my hair accessories. I'm killing it. I'm butchering it. I'm murdering it. I'm butchering it like it's a red heifer sacrifice, a fake one from Israel. I'm kidding. Anyway, the only thing that's out of work right now are my edges, but proper, you ain't gonna miss them, cause you gonna be missing all of me. But that's what happens when you keep on intending to rape a woman. Right, so we're gonna have a discussion. How you doing? It's your girl Cranky. I did make mention of that. Please try to not focus on my edge issues. I I did my own cornrows. That's something you should be proud of at this particular moment. Why are you not glad it's my cornrows? I did them myself, guys. I mean, come on, I'm getting better. Do you not see? So if I can't lay edges, it's only a small matter that I'll eventually get around to it, yeah? I'll eventually learn, but right now I don't have an incentive to learn anything. Because everybody's trying to kill me, yeah? I don't want to die, so I'm running away all the day. Anyway, let's just get really serious about this matter. It's dire. This is my last video that I'm going to be uploading on this channel. I've made a decision. It was not a hard decision. It did not take tons of deliberation. It did not take hours of war in my mind. I just came to a sound conviction that if I don't leave, I'm gonna die. And remember, in my last videos, if at all you've been watching me with any level of like, was serious, you know, like really, really nearly and dearly, which a lot of these people who are afflicting me are listening to me concerning, I said in my long form, the last long form video that I posted before this, right, because I'm going to post stuff in chronological order. So everything I have, in every video I have recorded to date, I will put it on my old channel, these channels, right? But then going forward, everything that I'm going to record from basically tomorrow or day after, whatever, is going to go in my new channel. And in my new channels, there's going to be a change of tone and basically just introducing a new space. You can't just rock up in a new place with a great deal of anger and you're just like busy out here blowing steam, like tearing up people's like papers and ripping off their heads like they're dolls. You can't just do that. So all the steam that I was blowing, I am going to put it on here. However, I did make notice of the fact that I was blowing steam and almost every last video, listen, just go down the rabbit hole that is my ministry. Scroll down, and you will see that almost every long form video and every short is about rapey men. My thumbnails are repetitive. My thumbnails are like a convoy at a funeral, like of hearses, like on the road, taking a body to the grave. That is what my videos are like, be they shorts or long form. It's like a funeral convoy of the exact same laments. The exact same laments. I'm just talking about these rapey men everywhere. And with me speaking that way, the reason why it's like a convoy at a funeral is because inevitably, if at all, I don't run from them. I promise you right this minute, it will be my body in one of those hearses en route a cemetery, because I'm gonna die. Because who in the world gets encircled by that many rapists and doesn't eventually die? If it is within your prerogative to run, then if it is within your prerogative to run, then run, child. This phone has started with its glitching and its twitching. Doesn't matter. What's recording, however, is in real time, so I have that confidence. Listen, y'all. Okay, now let's simmer down the tone. Let's become a little less animated and a little bit more serious. Okay, I don't know what's going on in South Africa. I also don't know what's going on in the world, but I certainly don't know what's in particular happening in this country. Listen, keep your rapists, keep your budmadlisas, keep your crazy men, keep your women that help them, keep the standoffish, complacent, la-di-da thing that you're doing. I like to scream and to like shout and chant and grunt, just lamenting about the same thing, and stay in that environment. It's like going to varsity or work every single day, where when you rock up at the turnstiles, at the gate, at the entrance hall of your school or your corporate where you work, there is a security guard there that is of the opposite sex, a man, that in the interest of security or making sure that you don't bring a gun to school, gropes at the women, touches their breasts, touches their nether regions, their vaginal area, their buttocks, and with like, you know, just like a grope, right? Their thighs, in the interest of security. And you feel harassed and you keep on reporting it to the dean of the university. You keep reporting it to the chancellor, whoever you can report it to. And listen, it lands on deaf ears. Deaf ears. We understand you want to get your degree. And we also understand that this job here, if it's a corporate where you work, pays the bills. But if you keep on rocking up at that job with you lamenting so very many times that you are being sexually harassed every time you try to go into school or work, with no one doing anything about it, despite all of your laments, the security guards are going to eventually realize that no matter how many times the women in this varsity or in this corporate office complain, nothing gets done. So it's going to move from groping and touching very sensitive private areas of women to this time around just stripping you naked and then just one after the other, just gang raping. Stuff like that eventually is going to happen. There is a hope that one day I'm going to see where the rape is coming from, where the groping, the touching is coming from, where the measly insistence on a woman's body that it keeps saying no is coming from. It is thoroughly hoped, envisaged, that I am one day going to let a rapist touch me further than what he's already afoot. It is believed that one day that's going to happen. And these rapists, like, the situation is so bad, right? So there was this content creator that I follow that is from the United States of America, and he is conservative, but he's not Christian, clearly. Because just because you are conservative doesn't mean that you're Christian. And it is evident that he's not Christian, because every so often in his content, which I am really frazzled by, he uses expletives. And there was a time when I stopped following him altogether because of the fact that he can use expletives in his music. But then Charlie Kirk died, and he did a song for Charlie Kirk called Charlie, and it just touched me so much, and I was just bawling my eyes out when I listened to this song. Shot down, but he was barely 31. His name is Tom McDonald, right? I loved him from the very first time that I watched one of his first shorts. But as I kept watching him, I was unhappy with the fact that it would be great if you stopped using expletives. It would be great if you stopped using gestures with your fingers to evidence that you're upset at the left or whatever, like the middle finger and whatnot. Yeah, so I stopped. I didn't unfollow him. I just stopped watching him, and so his content stopped being recommended to me. But then Charlie Kirk died, and then he wrote the song Charlie, and I listened to it, and I was just bawling. But now he is being recommended quite a lot again, and I'm like, listen, I would much rather listen to a conservative that is Christian or a conservative that does not use expletives that easily. He is a rapper. He is a musician, and just like typical rappers and typical musicians, every so often they just use the F word. They just use the S word. So for those reasons, I'm not happy with Tom McDonald, but I love him. I really do. But what does it profit a man to gain adoration and respect and to basically stand with people that are going to heaven when in and of yourself you're not going there, right? So Tom McDonald needs to get saved. He's not yet born again, but he stands for pretty much everything that I stand for, everything that politically. Anyway, he shares the same values as Christians. And that's how it is when people are right-leaning, when they tend to love Christian Judeo-value. Basically, cultural Christianity is like that. It's full of people that are still hell-bound, that need to give their lives to Christ, that have yet to do that. And so, therefore, they're still in hot water. But you can hang with them, you can chill with them, you can be tight. But every so often, they disappoint you because, they drop the F-bomb or whatever. And you have to just keep on being like, could you not use that much language? Like, it's kind of, that's Tom McDonald. I'd never leave him out. I would never throw him away, because that would be like throwing out the baby with the bathwater. But these are the qualms, and these are the issues that I have with Tom. Now, I told you that whole thing about Tom McDonald for this purpose. So you can understand what in the world I'm dealing with over here. Because I have recently gone back to listening to Tom due to the martyrdom of Charlie Kirk and that song of his going viral called Charlie. He then, of course, because, God always uses whatever it is that I'm presently engaging with to help me understand the mindset, the rhetoric, the thought process of people encircling me. People encircling my ministry, people with the determination to do whatever they want to do with my life, okay? Yeah, so he used Tom McDonald to help me understand what these occult practitioners are gunning for. This is literally the epitome or the pinnacle of wanting your bread buttered on both sides and wanting to have your cake and eat it too. So listen, I don't want to be long. Like this video, I said that I want to do an exit video. I must. Because in the last ministry that I had, I also had an exit video. Because this is the second time I'm moving. It's the second time I'm packing my bags and going. And for the exact same reasons. I'm literally fleeing a bunch of castigating rapists that feel as if though it's only a matter of time before I do whatever under heaven they are of the imagination I'm going to do. Before I do whatever it is that they're of the imagination that I'm going to finally do for them. Like sexual favors, like marrying, just a comprehensive unregenerate. Anyway, I said I didn't want a long video, but I don't know, whatever. Let me just explain and see how many parts this eventually becomes. It is after midnight. So, frankly, the reason why I even started recording it after midnight is because I didn't want this to be a long video. So let's try and keep it succinct. Okay, my country, South Africa, is littered above these streets, in the black community in particular. I cannot fault any other single demographic. It is a black cancer. I will not lie. With men that are the bane of women's existence, be they black, white, pink, purple, whatever, but especially black women, considering that, unfortunately, being black and with the historical undertones of blackness, there tends to be a general patience, for lack of a better word. But rather, the proper description here is dragging of feet pertaining our issues. When black children cry on school playgrounds, they're less run to by teachers, by caregivers, than when any other race of child is in danger. When black kids are roaming the streets, I explained to you guys that in black culture in my country, and I think it's still a thing, I don't know though, there are kids that you will see that are very young, like as in 6-7 years old, in downtown Joburg, a dangerous place. It's full of crime, it's full of muggings, it's full of, go and just look up the stats of Johannesburg, and you will know it's got one of the highest crime rates in the world, and downtown Joburg is especially rife with this. There's lots of crime, but black people frequent there regularly enough for them largely to sort of kind of, because a lot of times with crime statistics, they'll say that crime has gone up 20% or 30%, but you might find the majority of the population having not experienced it. And those crimes that are reported are concentrated amidst a small number of people. So you can have a whole bunch of South Africans that have never experienced a single mugging and yet live in the highest crime rate in the country. In the highest crime zone in the land, right? So black people are always bustling up and down downtown Johannesburg with barely any scars, barely any wounds, any issues at all. I grew up going to school, traveling through downtown Joburg with limited issues. All that you would endure is the random dude on some hello nice, and just like hollering at you from a corner, even though he's much too old for you. But you're largely sort of kind of safe. But when it gets dangerous, when it gets really dangerous, when it gets to muggings and robberies, it gets really horrible. When I was in university, there are these two girls on campus. You will know if you are a student how girls just rock basically nothing. They go to school in panties, okay? Shorts, really mini skirts, crop tops. Like, it's just a cesspool, a morass of immodesty on campus and across the races, whatever might be the skin tone. And so some of these girls have to travel back to Soweto or to wherever it is that they stay through downtown Joburg, and they have to go over the Mandela Bridge. And there were these two students at Wits University that typical young girls on campus wearing short skirts and bum shorts, who however commute with taxis, went to school like that. And on their way back, the two of them, when they arrived at Bree taxi rank, it made the news. They were castigated by taxi drivers and stripped naked. Basically, they took off the rest of their clothes and said, walk around like that, because what are you doing not wearing anything? What are you doing not wearing anything in front of everybody? So seeing as you can wear basically panties in public, you might as well just take it all off. And they were paraded. They were paraded naked in the square by some pretty misogynistic men who felt like it was within their prerogative to judge, rule, and basically come up with a set of life conditions for people that are not even their own children. That was a very extreme case, but it caused a whole bunch of black girls coming back from wherever using downtown Joburg to next time wear pants, next time wear long skirts, long dresses, because hey, these taxi drivers, they might just have a field day with you. And then there's also the extremes where it is that there's taxi violence and people get caught in the crossfire, so people get killed, they get like shot, dead, rapes, random stuff that when it happens to you is really bad. It's what I'm getting at. When it does happen, it's really bad. Rarely ever do you get out of there with just a scratch or just a oops, almost, who'd have thunk it that I would be one of those. So you pray and you hope that you don't become a victim, because when you are a victim, it's really bad. And that's how it is in downtown Joburg. So when it comes to children, you will find these like kids just like a very dangerous Johannesburg like that, where stuff like that can happen, right? That has these statistics, that has these murders per day, these muggings, these rapes, these robberies, these random afflictions of random strangers. When you hear about stuff like this in the news, and as a parent you just let your child like go to school alone at the age of 7, at the age of 8, 9 in this big city with this kind of crime, it's kind of like, whoa, whew, it's dangerous, right? But largely, for the grand majority, these kids climb taxis on their own. They get in these taxis, they get home, they go to school like this every single day, and all the way up until they get to matric, nothing happens. So what I'm trying to explain to you is that in the midst of all this dangerous, bustling environment, there are people, and a huge chunk of people, children, that get through the irresponsibility of allowing a 7-year-old, a 5-year-old, a 6-year-old, 4 children that are under the age of 9 to just together be traveling in this crazy, bustling, urbanized city. That is downtown Joburg, by Bree, by North, by taxi ranks, etc. And there's quite a lot of taxi violence in this country, right? Yeah. So if at all black people are so used to seeing black children just walking around at 5, 6, 7, 8 in little clumps in groups, sometimes it's just 2 of them, and they're so small that their bags overwhelm their bodies the way that they're so big that they're carrying to go to school. There then is a culture of just being apathetic towards the safety of these children. There is no concern. There is no forehead creased concerning these children. There is no creased forehead concerning children that are walking in downtown Joburg, so young, 9 and under, 10 and under, even 12 and under, by themselves. Because for the larger majority, we all got home safely. For the larger majority, we traveled in taxis alone and we got home safely. So basically, the black child, all the way up until they become a black adolescent and then a black young adult, you're expected to just make it in spite of being put in the midst of a shocky environment. Because largely, people just kind of made it. Largely they made it, but when it's bad, it's really bad. When it's horrible, it's really horrible. When it's terrible, it's really terrible. When it's criminal, it's really criminal. When it's murderous, it's really murderous. But largely people just kind of, you know, like proper. A 20% crime statistic is still 20%. 80% of the people largely are okay. And 80% of the time there is an okayness. So based on just that majority statistic, there is an epidemic of comprehensively ignoring the screams, the cries, the plights of black children, women, people, when there is real danger encircling us, because we're always just together clumped in a bustling environment that's full of danger, and largely we are okay. But when it comes to other demographics, like when it comes to the whites, the Indians, perhaps even the coloreds, endure quite a bit of hardship, but not nearly as much as us, right? When they go through hell on earth, it's rare in their communities in a way that is quite observable. Whereas in the black community, there's just so many casualties. So many of us, like in any single space where there's 1,000 people, when 2 get killed, it's like, oh snap, 2 people got killed, but it's like 2 out of 1,000. But in white communities, I'll use white communities, they're the crime of the country and their targetedness, largely by poverty-stricken black people. When it happens, it's just shocking to them because they don't live in environments and they don't frequent environments. Downtown Joburg is teeming at the folds, bustling with black people. They don't live in environments, and neither do they frequent environments that are full of black people, or that are full of like these high crime zones, these places where the stats are really abysmal. They're just jam-packed with black people. So when there are casualties, it's just one black person amidst 1,000. But when a white family gets mugged, burgled, when a white man gets murdered, when a white child gets castigated, raped, it's rare, it's a taboo. It's rare, it's a taboo. And it tends to be the people who are from the crowds, from the clump, from the demographic, like just clump, in the way there's just like a lot of them, like concentrated, right? They travel over into white neighborhoods, into Indian neighborhoods, largely white, okay? They travel over into these neighborhoods, and then they rob, they mug, and so basically they have to travel from a high crime space where a whole bunch of people endure a lot of casualties, a whole bunch of black people endure a lot of casualties that are largely just kind of swept under the carpet, and then they travel over to a space that does not have, I guess, the level of crime statistics that you would find concentrated in downtown Joburg, but they move over into suburbia, and then they mug, or they steal, or they stab, or they whatever, and then it's shocking to that community in a way that a stabbing and a mugging and a shooting in downtown Joburg, just another black person, is not nearly as shocking, because we're always in the midst of danger. And the stats, even though there's a 20% crime increase, 20% is still not 100. There's still 80% safety. I made mention of that. Whereas in a space where there's barely any crime, or rather, barely any expectation of something strange happening, when it does happen, it causes a lot of shock, because these people that live in that space are not accustomed, they're not used to just random killings, random bodies being found on the corner of the street in the morning when they wake up. They're not used to hearing screams of women. Like, when I was growing, my cousin, her family used to stay in downtown Joburg in a sectional titled The Flats. They were opposite that ANC building that got bombed some time ago. You will remember, well, not all of it, like there was an explosion that caused windows to break, whatnot, but there were not too many casualties. It was when people were fighting, trying to make sure that, it was just like, yeah, like after, I believe ANC won, like Mandela became president, there was like qualms with that, and so there was a bombing at like some building opposite Lista building, yeah, where my cousins stayed. They stayed opposite Lista building, a medical center in downtown Johannesburg. And anyway, whatever, that got bombed. That was like a whole thing on its own. But my cousin staying there, so you can understand, like it's right near North Taxi Rank, where my cousin used to stay with her family. A sectional title flats. We used to visit all the time. My sister and I, me in particular, because I was quite tight with my cousin, right? I would visit there on school holidays, whatnot, because I was visiting my best friend. I would visit my cousin, and it was just normal to hear. Yeah, and people would then run to the balconies of these tall buildings, often like skyscrapers, right? And just kind of see if you can see downstairs, because they stayed at different floors at different times. So there was a time when I believe they were on the 9th floor, then on the 12th floor, or whatever. And if at all we were on, like, where it is that we could see outside of a window, if we were low enough to see what's happening, we would run to the balcony to see what's going on. Are they mugging a lady? Are they killing a lady? Are they killing a guy? What's happening? You would not only hear women screaming and people just running to their balconies to see what's going on, but you would hear guns. There was always a ba, 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 every single night without fail. Ambulances, police sirens, wee, 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 wee. Just lots and lots of violence. that it was just any other day. And if it happened close enough to the place where we stayed, where my cousin stayed, with the flats, if it happened close enough, then we would all run to the balcony to see what's going on. But nobody would run downstairs to actually do something about it. Nobody would call the police on we believe a woman is being raped or a woman is being castigated on the street or something. Like, nobody would call the authorities. And then we would hear, hey, apparently there's somebody that got killed yesterday. Apparently that, like, just like stories doing their rounds. And just a culture of, we hear a death happening, we hear a murder happening, we do nothing about it. We find out the next day that somebody died, and listen, nobody called the police, nobody intervened. A woman screamed until she shut up. A woman was mugged and just left. Nobody helps, everybody retreats. However, everybody, if at all they can, they just, like spectators, they go and they watch, if they can, from a distance. Where you watch from must be far enough from the crime scene to be safe, but close enough to it to, I guess, curiously just figure out what in the world, gather information as to what went down. And then the story will be doing its rounds in the flat where everybody stays, along the lines of, ish, I know, take care of yourselves. Take care of yourselves, this place is dangerous. These muggings, like, yeah, come back home before a certain time. Hey, no, wait, hey, there's a lot of crime. Like, people would just speak among themselves along, like, take care of yourselves, but no intervention, no shock concerning the fact that these things are happening. Only expectation, spectator value, and an understanding that every man for himself, take care of yourself, or you're out, you're on your own, man. You're on your own. That's how it was. And when we lived also in Yeovil, in Yeovil, also not far from downtown Joburg, with my mom and I and my sister, we stayed in the very early stages of my life, in the early stages of primary school, when I was still at Mayfair Convent Primary. We also lived in Berea, Yeovil, which is like not far from downtown Johannesburg. And yeah, again, and in Yeovil, it was full of like foreign nationals from other African countries, and it was just rife with lots and lots of like black on black violence between South African blacks and the blacks of other nationalities around. So between South African blacks and Nigerians, between South African blacks and Zimbabweans and Nigerians, like, it's just, yeah. So there was a lot of like gang violence, like lots and lots of killings. And Yeovil, Berea, that spot was also a West African like haven, where it was just rich with like Ghanaians, Nigerians, etc. And they would stick together, of course, at the expense of South Africans. And like I said, lots of murders, lots of like fights and from local gangsters and ones that are from abroad. Well, yeah, if you want to call it abroad, then call it abroad, but ones that are from other countries in Africa. And we poof, like ga. Every second night, every like twice a week, you just hear guns just going, screams, people running, arguments, fights, scuffles. But I remember getting off taxis, living in that very Yeovil, right, alone with my sister. And my sister's only 2 years older than me, right? The two of us coming back from school, having gone through downtown Joburg and then gotten a taxi to get to Berea/Yeovil. And the two of us in our school uniform, little as we are, under the age of 12 each, just walking in this environment that was so dangerous, so full of gun violence. And yet my mother trusted or expected that we were going to get home safely. Were there kids that were harmed? Yes, but we were not among them. And people looked at us when we were coming back from school, going to school, and all these things, like, this is normal. Like, black kids, you find them just littered across these streets. Whether or not there's pedophiles, irrelevant. Because largely there aren't. And largely there aren't any pedophiles. Or largely there aren't any random, I mean, we've been... My sister and I have been robbed of money. Money has been taken away. Like, random older people playing games with us, saying, please go and get this throw for me, and then give me your money and I'll keep it for you, and when you come back, I'll give you back your money. This has happened to my sister and I, not so much in Yeovil. This has happened to my sister and I, not so much in Yeovil where we stayed, but in Durban, where my mother, listen to this, put me and my older sister on a greyhound. My mom had a bestie, a friend that stayed in Durban. And one school holidays, they made an agreement that we were gonna go and visit this friend of my mom's, to go to Durban so we could go to the beach and swim and all that jazz. And she was like, yeah, I'll bring your children. I'll take care of them during the holidays. And my mother did not go with us. She literally put us on a greyhound, an 8-hour bus ride to KZN. Just me and my sister. You guys tell me if there are any children that are put on an airplane that are under the age of 18 or 17 that are without a guardian. If at all they will allow that. Does it happen? But in South Africa, in unregulated modes of transportation, you can literally put 2 children on a Greyhound, a bus, that are that young and send them to another province altogether, and nobody will raise an eyebrow as to why are you traveling alone. We were put on a Greyhound, just the 2 of us. We had to take care of you. Listen, we were excited that we're going to Durban, but my mom did not come with. And her friend, listen, this is before the days of cell phones. So how it is that she knew the Greyhound schedule and when the Greyhound was going to pick us up. Not pick us up, but drop her when it was going to arrive at Durban station. And at that time, she had to, I guess, make sure that she was there to pick us up. 2 children getting out from Johannesburg in Durban on a bus that traveled all those hours. We could have been lost anywhere along the way. 2 children. We could have been harassed, castigated, trafficked by randoms that would notice that, listen, there's 2 young children in the bus. Aspatate, nobody's gonna notice. Let's dupe them. Let's tell them to get off at Pietermaritzburg instead of Durban. And if we can beguile them, they will believe us. And they will stay in Pietermaritzburg. And the bus driver will have no qualms with leaving these kids behind. We got to Durban, and my mom's friend was indeed there to pick us up based on the bus schedule. There was no please call me, no SMS, no nothing. No cell phones, only landlines, but she was there to pick us up. We go to KZN. We are there now. We are in Durban. We're happy. My mom's friend picks us up. We stay at her place. And listen to this. She is a working woman. She's got a 9 to 5, but she's got her own very busy life. And oh, guys, like it's just like things that happen in the Black community, right? Just how strong people are made to be, how independent they're made to be, and how it is just expected that we're gonna be okay until we're not. Okay, it's just expected that we're gonna survive until we just don't, until we die, and then it becomes very, very tragic on that day, right? This woman picks us up. We stay at her house. We are very, very happy, and because she is a working woman, very busy, and because we went to Durban and we want to go to the beach, we want to have a holiday. What would you do when you've got children? And I mean, how old were we? My sis, listen, we were both in primary school. And primary school, the oldest age that you are there is 13. So we were under the age of 13. I can't tell you in which grades of primary school we were at, but we were both in primary school and we were both at Mayfair Convent. We were under the age of 13. My sister is older than me, so she was under 13. So I was, of course, under 11. And we were taken at that age alone on this Greyhound. And then her friend, my mom's friend, because we're there on holiday, but she's not on holiday. She still had to go to work, okay? It was our school holidays, but ain't no school holiday, like, you know how people's school holidays don't align with children's school holidays? And this woman was like, okay, but now they need to be entertained because they've come here for holiday. And so what does this woman do? She takes us to the beach. No, she didn't even take us to oh my gosh, this woman did. My mom's friend did not even take us to the beach the way that Black kids are just trained so much independence. She didn't take us to the beach. She saw us to the bus stop that goes to Durban Beach. Gave us the money that we needed and whatnot. We packed our bags and everything that had swimwear and little food and money and whatnot. And she put us on a bus and told the bus driver, sorry, she didn't even put us on it. She just told us the night before because she didn't know this woman went to work in the morning is what I'm getting at. But we were not about to go to the beach at like 8 a.m. right? Only at like maybe once 11 a.m. hit, that's when we would then start trekking. But she had trained us that this is the bus, it's going to Durban Beach. When you get in, tell the bus driver that you're going to Durban Beach, and then he will drive you there, and then you must get off there and you must come back the exact same way. I will see you at whatever time you come back. Make sure you're back home by 5. And so the next day, my sister and I, I guess from 11:30, 12, we go out and we stand there. Listen, we're dealing with a 12-year-old and a 10-year-old, maybe even an 11-year-old and a 9-year-old. And we're standing there. We get on a bus. We indeed ask the bus driver, Durban Beach. Bus driver's like, okay, Ngenani. We go to Durban Beach. We then lay our towels and everything on the floor and we are happy. But as soon as we arrived, listen, I am not even joking. As soon as we got to Durban Beach, there was quite a few people at the beach. As soon as we got there and laid our towels down, some ladies that looked like they could have been in their 20s, very fresh, very kind, came and spoke with my sister and I, asked us, where you from? Oh, and played with us like we're children, and kids love adults, right? They're very sweet. And they play, these women, like, they played with us, they buttered us up, and then they were like, they basically made friends out of us, and then told us, you can go and swim if you want. We'll sit here and watch your things. They won our trust. Lo and behold, my sister and I get up and we go in the ocean, we swim, we hop into some waves, and we of course come back and gone. Everything. Our bags, our everything was gone. Like like towels. They took everything. They took our towels, the food that was in there, the money, whatever we had on our person, they took it. We searched and we searched and we hunted. Where are these women? Where are they? Well, at which stage then we started crying and crying and crying. And upon crying, then some people, I guess, like we had to listen. Nobody came to us and was like, children, what's wrong? We were just crying and crying. And so my sister, being the older one that was a little bit more mature, asked, where can I find the police? Where can I find the police? Where can I find the police? And so somebody was like, go over there to report issues at the beach. And there was like some security guard stand office place. And we go there in tears, in swimwear, swimming costumes, no towels, just swimming costumes, no flip-flops, nothing. Swimming costumes only on our bodies. And we go inside this police station, this security guard place. And the security guard calls the police. The police get there. No cases opened because when the world are we going to even begin to find people that stole children's luggage, food, money, whatnot. They put us in a police van at the back. I remember it like it was yesterday. They put us in a police van at the back and asked, where do you stay? Essentially, they were giving us a ride home. They put us in a police van at the back and asked where we live. And my sister thankfully knew the address where we stayed. Yeah, because that was stuff that they made sure we know. This is where you stay, get number, this, that, and the other. It's on the street. So my sister, having been in DG, my sister was in like a hard knock academic, so she could never forget anything. Yeah, okay, she then told them the address, and the police van drove us to where we stay, to where we lived. Essentially, listen, these women took everything, including like the keys to the house. Like, they wiped us clean. And yeah, they dropped us off. They did not even like knock on the door to talk to adults, nothing. They just dropped us off and said, okay, you're home now, you're safe, bye. Oh my goodness. Well, of course, we then in that swimwear sat and waited for Auntie, my mom's friend, to come back home from work and find two shivering children in swimwear, just chilling, go gating, unable to get inside. Remember, before cell phones, before please call me's, before anything, we didn't have any money, we couldn't call anybody. They just dropped us off, and then my mom's friend eventually comes back from work and finds us shivering at her door. And I guess she felt like trash, like death warmed up, right? She must have felt really terrible. But she then was like, what's going on? My sister then we cry, we explain the story, and after 24 hours it was made a joke. It was funny because we lived, right? That's the thing. It was laughed about because we lived, we made it, we survived. And that which was stolen from us was of no essence. It was little amanzamangani to adults, right? To us, it was property that made some kind of sense. It was our shoes, our clothes, and you know how kids love their things. Yeah, but to the grown-ups, after 24 hours had come and gone, and we were safe, it was evident that nobody was dead, dying, yeah. When then our safety was ascertained, we didn't get raped, only stolen from by some crazy ladies at the beach, then it was made a joke and they laughed at us. And I kid you not, it became like a whole theme of laughter against us in the family. My mom's friend told my mom, I would have been big mad as a mother if at all my friend had just listened. I leave my kids in your custody and you just let them endure all this, but at the same time, you put your kids in a Greyhound to travel 8 hours in a bus. So I guess everybody hears the exact same thing, right? So nobody can be calling anybody out on any kind of ill parenting or ill guardianship because everybody was just so lackluster and loose with children. But that was the issue. That was the problem of that particular circumstance. We became a laughing stock. It's what I'm getting at. Like, everybody laughed. That story made news. Everybody made out of us a laughing stock. Cousin Wonkumuntu, and understand you that story that I just told you guys about what happened at KwaZulu-Natal in Durban. It happened to my cousin and her brother. My mom's sister's children. My mom's sister's children also went through a similar thing in Durban, where it is that they were just left at the beach. Like, they were made to just travel there by themselves, and then they got stolen from. My mom's sister's children, a boy and a girl, also endured the same thing that my sister and I had endured. And by the time that my sister and I endured it, I don't know if my other two cousins had already endured it or if at all they would endure it later on in the future, but our stories were compared to each other. And because everybody survived, everybody lived, nobody was molested, we were just stolen from by people who took for granted children. we were made a laughing stock. You see, now there's like a glitch. I don't know what's going on. I hope that there will be a recovery. We were made a laughing stock. I kid you not, like, my family members have betrayed me, but they would corroborate the story, right? These stories, they would corroborate them. Cause we all done gone through it. Okay, we all done experienced these matters. Okay, listen, open that phone in. It's giving me heebie-jeebies because it's glitching and twitching, but ultimately it'll be okay. Cause I'm pretty sure that'll be okay. Cause my shorts are always okay, even though there might be a glitch while I'm recording. Yeah, my cousins will be able to corroborate this. The only reason why everybody was laughing, the only reason why everybody made a joke out of this was because we made it. It's like, what doesn't kill you makes you stronger. There's like that kind of mindset in the black community. What doesn't kill you makes you stronger. And there's like just a wholesale abandonment of children, just a neglect of kids, like just a wilderness mentality of children. Like, it's like we're with that little boy in the book, The Jungle Book, living in the midst of animals and getting raised by them, but hey, we come out alright on the other side. Like, what in the world? Like, it could be worse. It could be more devastating. But because it isn't more devastating, because people don't die, because children come out alright, because nobody gets raped, because nobody gets too harassed, it then becomes a story around the dinner table when really, frankly, when you grab a magnifying glass and look very carefully at this, when you investigate it as with a magnifying glass, you will realize, listen, this is just wholesale child abandonment. It's wholesale woman abandonment. It's wholesale person abandonment. It's just neglecting necessary steps that must be taken in order to ascertain the safety of somebody, so as to eliminate the prospect of harm. Do you understand? Because sometimes harm does come. Sometimes harm does come. And just because it didn't doesn't now make it, like I said, a conversation over a dinner table. There is a real danger in the lives of black people that is being ignored. You guys know that my politics are right, and they've been like that for a while. I started out left. You guys know that I don't pull race cards. I don't do no such thing. You guys know that I have premised a huge chunk of my ministry to calling out black people for all of the trash they do. So you will never find me sitting here essentially self-pitying for enduring oppression because I'm black. I would never do that. Like, take accountability for your trash that is responsible for why it is that you endured trash outcomes. But it must also be highlighted that there is a general disregard of black pain on the global scale, and this general disregard of black pain is literally inspired by the fact that there is a mindset that what doesn't kill you makes you stronger in the black community, and a comprehensive disregard of the fact that, listen, sometimes it does kill you. So there are casualties, there are rapes, there are people who actually don't make it. And that's when it becomes really tragic. It's not that black people don't have emotions, because you've seen how theatrical they are at funerals. It's that they tend to think, for some strange reason, that funerals won't come. Because so many of us, listen, have such harrowing feats all throughout our lives. We survive so many bullets that it is anticipated that we're going to walk around in these streets making like titanium. Just bulletproof. Until somebody does die, and then it becomes a very poignant, painful funeral with people wondering, what could I have done differently? But if you peruse, as with a magnifying glass, the story of this dead human being, there were so many warning bells that they were unroot a casket, unroot a funeral, and yet no one did anything. At some point, if you abandon children at the beach enough times, this time they will not only be met by crazy little lunatics of steely ladies, Velcro hand ladies, or Velcro hand dudes. This time they will be met with Jeffrey Epstein. I'm sorry to have to say that. They'll be met with a child trafficker. They will be met with sex trafficking. They'll be met with a child molester, a sexual deviant, a pedophile. This time around, you're not just going to meet Velcro hand, like, young 20s ladies that are trying to find money to go to the club on the weekend from children at the beach. This time it's going to be somebody with real harm in their back pocket and end the life of a son and a daughter. And now when these lives end, like I said, it gets really tragic in the black community, and it's not that they don't have feelings. It's not that they don't have emotions. It's not that they don't cry, mourn. It's not that they don't feel an exquisite amount of grief when calamity strikes. It's not that they're unfeeling. It's that they take for granted that, listen, it's gonna pass, nothing is going to hit. Nothing is gonna crash into a cave until it does. So the laments of black people are not only ignored by blacks, but they're ignored by the world, because the world ignores us. You know the saying, charity begins at home. We are so with a tough skin, we've got such a thick exterior that it is anticipated that we can be filed down and still live and still make it. Because, like I said, a thick outer coating, if you saw at it and if you file it down long enough, eventually you get to the inner shell and there is no longer a covering, right? When you take a black woman's or a black man's thick skin as bulletproof shield, you will attend a funeral, and at some point you will attend a funeral, and as a black person, if you don't self-preserve to ascertain that no one comes to your funeral, but rather that you live to a riper old age, you will die. So being a black woman, I have got to leave an environment that keeps on stealing my pocket change at the beach when I'm wearing nothing but swimwear, because my mother left me at Durban Beach. My mother left me in a Greyhound. My mother put me on a Greyhound and then handed me over to her friend, the Guardian, and put me on a bus as an 11-year-old or a 9-year-old child. And I went to the beach all by myself in all that youth, and some random irresponsible females that wanted money for the nightclub in the weekend took my stuff. I'm self-preserving because I know the folly that dwells richly in the black community, but I understand how entirely unacceptable it is that I have to just keep on running. From this time around, it's not the crazy Velcro hand young women. What did it? Now I'm actually saying, listen, these are rapists. Listen, this is a pedophile. Listen, this is a murderer. Listen, this is the kind of person that is trigger happy. This person is not merely just trying to take my cell phone and then skedaddle. He's trying to take my life. This person is not just trying to take my lunch and then skedaddle. This person is trying to take my body. And when then children come and they complain to the police and they say, he tried to rape me but I broke out, and they still don't open a case. And they just drop you off at home. Yes, like it, but listen, whatever. Listen, absolutely whatever. Okay? I'm doing edits, so there's going to be slight distraction, but once I'm done with these edits, I'll be 100% with you. But that's like a thing. Like I said, in the black, like whenever there are just heinous tragedies in the black community, there tends to be lots and lots of data that can be gathered to see how preventable this thing absolutely was, and yet there were no steps taken. A lot of times, heinous tragedies. Oh my goodness, what is with the glitch? Like, I can't stand that this thing every so often is glitching and twitching. Heinous tragedies that tend to happen in other communities tend to happen in spite of all the interventions that they put in place. They were broken into anyway. Like, if you look at a lot of homes in the north of Johannesburg, it's gated communities, highly secured, high walls, electric fences, guarded people that are always clutching their person. 10 steps. Person learned martial arts, what do they call the self-defense, 3 months ago because she has endured this white chick a mugging in that street of that gated community, despite it being all that gated. 4 months back, so now she's a martial arts champion. And so when then she is found dead in some bush, she fought, and in spite of all the interventions that she embarked on, she lost. Because the person overpowered her anyway, came from an angle that she could not anticipate, so her martial arts did not help her along. And so now there's a white girl that's dead. But if you look at, like I said, everything in her life encircling that event, nothing could have been done. The way that she was just come up at from whatever crazy bat out of hell angle, she couldn't have seen that coming, and so now she's dead. But when we as black people come up at from like some strange angle, we tend to see the projectiles, and we tend to have ducked so many projectiles and survived them that it is entirely unfeasible that the same projectiles from the same source finally killed us. It literally becomes entirely unacceptable that we got killed by the very thing that we kept running from. We got killed by the very thing we kept running from. Let's just look at Kesia Gaugelo. I forget. I don't forget her surname. I don't look it up. There was a young woman in this country that was killed at a tavern by an ex-boyfriend. Do you understand? When you go down and you investigate as with a microscope, a magnifying glass, what in the world under heaven killed Gaugelo? You would know that she had taken out a wrist, and I say what in the world would kill her.